Hello everyone, it's Ice New Year, and I'm here with another basing tutorial. In this one, we're going to talk about some snow bases I made. So with these, I've already gridded the bases. I basically just used some standard hobby grit, and then just painted it black, and then a little bit of gray to bring out some details, just to get like a rocky base. From here, I'm taking a bunch of plastic clear forks and just breaking them. Be careful with this. Pieces of these went flying everywhere. I seriously thought I was going to lose an eye. So yeah, just be really, really careful on this part of it. I just broke these up into a bunch of different little bits. The tines are really good looking for icicles, where the rest of it, the actual fork parts tend to be really good for like chunks of ice. And with these, I was working on making ice blocks for the Rasputina crew, not bases for any particular like model, because I've already made those. I'll put a picture of that all up at the end. So I just wanted, a bunch of little bits and such. From here, and I'm probably going to speed this video up a little bit here, I'm going to go ahead and get some PVA glue, just white glue, on my brush, and I watered it down a bit. I normally will take some PVA glue and mix it with water, but in this case I was being a little lazy. So I put some PVA glue straight on the brush and then dipped it in water. And I'm just, scrubbing it across the grit there. Making sure you kind of get deep down so that the snow is going to stick well. So, yep, we'll speed this up a little bit. And then here we go. So I'm using Gale Force 9 Snow Flock. There's a bit of a hair in it, so I had to pull that out. But just sprinkling that across the area I PVA glued. And this gives like a dusting look to the snow, which I like starting out with that. It's not a huge amount's going to stick. It's not going to be nearly as like covered as that. You can see I was able to pick this up and tap it off fairly quickly. There you go. You can see, just a light dusting across it, which I really like starting with that. Next, and I've already pre-made this, I took PVA glue and watered it down about 4-to-1 with water. I then put a bunch of Gale Force 9 snow grit or snow basing into it, and it makes a little slush. Which I really, really like. And this, I think, is where my snow bases really come to life. At first, I'm using just a bamboo skewer to just smear some of it across. And because it is such a gunk, it's going to dry fairly hard. I have occasionally in the past had issues where it'll dry, and then I have to... It'll dry and then kind of flake off a little, and I just have to put a little bit of glue underneath to hold it back down to the base. Excuse me, but it will, all in all, dry as one solid block, which makes it look really nice. So just smearing a bit of that across. I think at some point I gave up on the skewer and just used my fingers. It really does make life easier. There we go. One thing I have found to be super important if you're doing figures is make sure... Once it's settled and where you like it, make sure you make indentations for the figure's feet. We had a couple issues with having to basically do some weird gluing on the figures because they would lean weird, just because of the thickness of the snow. But because these don't have any figures on them, yeah, there we go. So, on to the next step. I'm going to be getting some of the broken pieces of the forks, and I'm going to be gluing them down. And these are going to be my icicles and blocks of ice. So with these, as opposed to the ones I had figures on, I was a bit more random with them. Obviously, if you have some figures, you can, obviously take a moment to really think through where you're going to place these. So I'm going to speed through this and we'll be back. And here we're on to the step I think really makes it all pop and brings it all together. I'm using an acrylic nail powder, and an acrylic nail liquid. You can pick these up at like beauty supply stores, like Sally's is a good one. I believe they would cost right around 30, 35 bucks, you know, depends on your region, together. My girlfriend is a cosmetologist, so I just stole it out of her kit. But you're going to take some and do this in a well-ventilated area. It smells terrible. Yeah, it's really nasty. So you're dipping a little bit into the nail liquid and then dipping that into the acrylic nail powder. And I apologize, I'm off camera here a little, but so what you're going to do is basically take that and run it across the entirety of the forks. And I normally start by getting a nice layer across. And you can see I have a little bend in them, which I'm going to take care of in a little bit. But I normally start by running it across the entire thing, just get a small coat. And then I will start at the base and work my way up. And then just let it drip. And it basically ends up making it look like a really nice icicle. It frosts it really well. And if you want it to be less frosted and more clear, I found that, and I don't do it in this one, but I found that using a clear gel nail polish on it will help clear it up a little bit. But I'm just going to go through and frost all this. I'm also going to, where it hits the base, kind of spread it out a little bit. That helps build some stability as you're building acrylic into the cracks and crevices and holding it in. And it also makes it look like it's kind of melted into it. It looks really nice. And then I'm going to touch a couple spots in the bases with just the goo itself to put little patches of ice on the ground. But I'm going to run through doing this on both bases. Where the a couple parts of it popped of them were very loose because they were glued straight into the flock. So I went ahead and just pulled them off. And I'm going to glue them back on after everything's dry and done. But you can see that no longer looks like a fork. It looks like a weird ice formation. It's already nice and crystallized looking. Just hitting it up a little bit more here. And it just really takes away that manufactured look. Pay special attention to any seams or anywhere there's like imprints on it. So like there was words imprinted on these. Just pay a lot of attention to that. Fill those in. Smooth them over. And it's good to go. You can see it's already starting to come together into more of an ice looking than just looks like I have a bunch of fork pieces stuck on there. I was a little worried about this large piece of the fork, but I think it came out really well. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and speed through these, and then I'm going to show some pictures of these two, and then also the bases I made for Monarchist's crew. So I want to thank everyone for watching. If you have any questions or anything, let me know down in the comments below, and I will address them as soon as I can. But yeah, and if there's any other tutorials of anything, you know, you've seen me do that you want, let me know. Thank you all for watching, and as always, have a great one.